14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27.
You need thousand of my one. 31,
32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 90, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 160.
NPP headquarters and I huni and I am quite came down. I came down. I'm an advice. I catch say a whole resource. I am ready to come for it. Me car. Bobosuma.
Yo, say a bar a chim swagger war a queer man to say now about one of Ensus as one of Ecoye. Jody kind a honorable Kennedy a Japan. Onya 45 45 a Dr. Brian Tampon. Onusinya 66. I think so the author Dr. Mahmoud Baumia Onya 177. I think so Dr. Yaote Bichum Onya 2. Single 2. And after the chat a year engineer, Kabla Eddie Japan, on the Wenya Bani, 0. A total valid votes, no? 290, total valid votes. Total vote cast, 291, 291, total vote cast. Rejected, 1. Rejected, 1. It means this should be a man. Canada Japan, 45. Dr. Branagap, example, 66. Dr. Mahmoud Baunia, 177. Dr. Yaote Duchu, 2. Kwabna Ede Japan, 0. Total valid vote, 290. Total vote cast, 291. Rejected, 1. If the actual sword about one person, say, and about one echo.
Money Ajuma Kwabra for you, that's papa, any Wamania born until call a came down, which say a chimswood. Until Resa Copati headquarters is here, Nafi, the issue on what you made the home someone Abrea Koshe, the issue, Namuno, a chimswood Runo, Bertrand 66, and Nafi Bichum, Enyam, you know, I'm so Boris also, okay.
Total valid vote cast is 481. 481 is the total valid vote cast. There was one spot ballot. Total valid vote cast 481. So on the basis of this, Mohamed Baumia obtained the highest vote, followed by Ken Onyini Ejapon. Pablo Ejapon follow suit. And Brian Echampo and Yaose Duchu also follow suit. So for this particular center, I declare Mohamed Baumia the candidate elect for this center, not everyone. So I'm just announcing. I am announcing. Dr. Baumia secured the highest votes for this center, the headquarters. Thank you very much. So my agent,
and party headquarters into the SEO Honono. Na me bubo achim swedro di ani tie ko swedro ifra ne afiaba NPP party headquarters eno ne ewie sisi na swedro di eno se de kusi yenie eye achim swedro owa kan Japan enya 45 owa ban Japan enya 66 Dr. Mahmoud Baumia enya 177 Dr. Educhum enya 2 ena engineer Kwabeje Japan ono waje bi kura enti na the so swedru no na yeba NPP headquarters a owa kan Canada Japan enya 160 owa Benchampon Dr. Benchampon enya 3 miensa Dr. Mahmoud Baumia enya 308 Dr. Educhum enya miensa 3 ena engineer Kwabeje Japan enya 7 enti NPP headquarters no Dr. Baumia nya madodo ukwa achimso edru nso a onu kra no nya emadodo ewo ho but for Yamra here, Shady will be about one.
You call a Prince Aqua a horn. Prince, what's in car, Memoir? Hello, Prince. Prince Aqua.
Wakasi ebe tu abi pim ampanso abi pim wa hanu se na ba bi ebe nya kwanya ebe gina ye eye omo headquarters e bi kan e kan no eno asalam down na ye da ba to ni nyina no akona wie ye e wo ba bia meme egina wa hanu se de ebe to odwa ene se ye wura kwabena je e Japan enya enson me kire 7 Dr. Educhum enya miensa ye wura baomia enya 308 that is 308 ye wura Kennedy ohene e Japan enya 160 and afi Dr. Brian Achampon so enya 3 mame ensisu ebiem emre ya dey about to nyina no call na wieye e wo the NPP headquarters and wo asalam down hanu me say no yewra engineer kwabena aje e Japan enya 7 enson Dr. Yaw Educhum enya miensa and afi Dr. Muhammadu Baumia enya 308 that is 308 and afi yewra Brian Achampon doctor ono enya miensa so e kan ho no bi tell say okay can in abuma which is about almost 481 and esi ekoye but yemre ni mpanifo di nkomo no na wo se dodo a eba no entumi ama me pie mu sa e wa hanom se enti migusu amehwe se betumi anya mpanifo ni bi no mo edi nkomo se de anima esi ekofa ye wa hanom se but as at the time ayura ba o me be pie mu wa hanom ana obeto aba no ye bisa presiding officer na say electoral commissioner opani okay ma mehwe se betumi yura doctor ayura anyafo di nkomo opani mu akọ baba UTV so wo live we are seeing there mu akọ baba UTV so
yo mejo so okay na the tennis e be da mase se mo ba ye so no why you duma nti e bo ma ba so
okay ya dia ba chori na ba na wie ye interest e duma je no esi e fa ye de ma say the results ne ba no were you surprised
no result had ye na na
pachani
o dey be surprised be no surprise ni
now who ni that so say you Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia na ebe winning election what happen say
everything shows Dr. Bawumia be winning because the history of your party no very clear say once a party no and also no and then call the first round 2024 no your record no shows we will have to repeat because the record of our country ko NDC mukra na uhu say obi anywhere waba abe contested once we winning enti naturally no na say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia be winning say the team
last year wetin am history kaka last year o compare last year ni and now who say other candidate na to me a close gap no and answer the team
well it's too early to indicate but I say no Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia appreciate I think total no I buy no the vote count about 308 that represents about 64-65% and he has appreciated from the 61 point something percent now in 2023 yeah into the attending say about ubia baso presidential election committee about mabaso party national executive about omunyina baso on say kunyina na manfo ISO national executive kukubi na election akoba yi emuda ho mfimfi he ya na yeto no obia anye ho hwe ballot e de ba na emuda ho but ya to akwa wie no obia ate no ho ase so far no de obia ate no ho ase say bibia koyie te bebo mpa say the rest of the
community yati say yem fan say
early days yes and the indication here no is very firm say the election has been peaceful and now my top media stations be brave ni nyina no omo twa live pictures traying and in actually say bibia no e dadin because security ni nya dia police for and enti e beda nyame ase
be brave Richard ahiabo na ote ne opani otonkrama NPP amani okuru ma menyo opani ba kon so eni enkomo awa hanu so opani janse na hwa camera no emmame mo akọ ba UTV so
me da wase etisan
nyame ada roma but o ka bro chief for one ada so
me o me deputy director of communications
oh okay
me dey asiri kokuru
that's fine yeah about to na be we headquarters hanu me say
yo abusuafo na tese yenua be mana sensem yensum choni Prince Aqua na owo NPP headquarters awode ho no mama ne bo e ba e jade ni nyina atutu eguso a eje efri mmea ni nyina ni etwa ho emfo nyina mfo ni twa ne de yesremo ye de ogidie pansa de enso be quality wo ha sei no enye different from die easy edeba betuja finally into the koso amu ofidie ena ase ni enje amanebo infree across the centers in about 333 polling centers and about on the course so enyina unim se no mienu dia boatwa mu krapa ho no mienu boken and omodi about so ba omo no mudi ki mu dada ne de empemfo e mare nya ne asute se anaso mu yasute se omodi ombehwe amoma to aba no na se after 2 na wo ba dia and I forget it.
Forget it.
Forget it.
Forget it. Now, even I never yes. See, I can't even know. Now, so we didn't kunimunu. Enya 50 plus. That's a run of a beba.
But you say a BSc pain. Iralan. Me kind of do enya 47 and onunya 37 or concede. But I don't know. So we say say nipa na obenya less no na sa mane enya 50 plus 1 no na so no be concede there.
No, Honda some no. So far be try say me a ko nyina no. You said that basa very when you say some point na me yam seseme yeah na me yam seseme say na last the women na cause na say it was so tense but this day bibia ye quiet boko ye be bot say na ka IGP na baso pa wa maba wa ye the bambo no mu ye ama bibia koso kam and even the aspirants na so kompo e ba wa baso mo chi before no so ma the tete ye metro men e be piem ni advice say the so far ya anti any metro men be yes say eja kan so ma kokomotimum ne nkasa enye basabasa abna hold on for me
global youth president
yes yakwa manso na yesa ka henia kwadwo kire ewo tanon of ho so ma to awie kwadwo
eja
mawie
eja ya to aba na wie se na dim no aye anopa no so ana abato no echa ase wa ha na wodi wani kire tanon no mention mu a na delegate also moto aba no 711 711 delegates no so to aba na media ni chat no bibia ko so kama ye wa basubo bia ye fa mo police for Ghana police and Ghana police aye media because oba tanon no fra community center baby to aba na kama say una just 2 minutes bia which police for no around. Let's make us say police for what man see me ade and then no penny odo man no so mu nyina be center ha. Sham no ka say ya so ba na wi atundwima electoral commissioner the results no atuja tia no bia na me kwan so a oku fi do bote na say na institution so no koye enipa di se na ndika ka enipa no say to aba no 711 na emu 600 and the three better about delegation na yewra Canada or Japan we are minimum 118 yewra by tampon and 65 Dr. Alaji Mahmoud Bawumia and 478 yewra Dr. Yawadichu and 2 and yewra from Japan and Bako etina institution so ifie abeni and
kwadwo wo say bubosu bi maye
Canada, Japan, 118, 118. By Japan, 65.
Okay.
65. Dr. Alaji Mahmoud Bawumia, 478, 478. Dr. Yao Osei 2, 2. Anna Yera Pabla Japan, 1.
Okay. I see.
Results,
all right. Moni adwuma yedase papa kwadwo eno wadwuma den a waye ne yedase papa akiri obeti yenka obeti memenka not yen so wo me number turn on off ne ekoye 1997 no obi aba ho no so
Okankwe north yeah McBaron and so Okankwe north Mark utimenka mema aha now what to say okay.
Total voters now already registered 865. 865. By a year, if I don't vote here, the amount of results. Rejected ballots. Rejected ballots. A3. Rejected ballots. Okay, enough. A3. Kennedy, Japan. 299. 299. And I have Brian Champon. 62. And Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. So you have 436. 436. And Dr. Yao Educhum. And you have 10. And Kwabna Eje Japan. Kwabna Eje Japan so you have 0. Kwabna Eje Japan so you have 0. Sana Kopa no Wahase here. We have provisional results. You see, Tanino boy, I feel on best certified. I'm not agents in sign. And so there's a pink sheet, no, to me, at the cassette, we and the final results. It's the minimum way of provisional results.
Okay.
Provisional results.
Okay.
Yes,
okay. Saboko, Ayora Kenya 299. Dr. Brian 62.
62.
Okay.
And at DMB, Dr. Mahmoud Bamia 436.
Okay. Already, Dr.
Yao
said
10. 10.
An engineer. Okay.
0.
Okay. Okay, yes, so yeah, that's a pa McBaron.
Yabako in Chasajiro, Chasajiri. Chas.
Hello.
Chas.
Yeah, General.
That's a manka.
That's one cup of appetitia.
That's right. Wahi.
General, but the home is now I talk about the constituency. Now, to them, and the pay the bread, then a number of good work to a man.
Yeah.
This year, they are grown up, baby, our Takrade constituency. Now, provisional results are yes, I can, our Takrade constituency. Only, in Kennedy, in Japan, on 96. Brian Achampon, on 61. Dr. Baumia, Onya 462. Dr. Ebichum, Onya She, Oye 0. Na engineer in Japan, Onya 1. In T-Session, Water constituency now. Oye Presbytery Primary now. Dr. Baumia, na Ofe, Onya out of the 665 and got there, what about to Abano? So far, I had no, you 620. No, what about to indeed. Yasha, you both there, yes, you both there, Nimpa about there 40 something. No, Amba Motu Abano. Now, you need nature, you both there. Dr. Baumia, wait to work to Mupa, Ominya, 462. Kennedy in Japan, 96. A woman, see, more codo, our Takrade constituency, now made the Abrawi.
It's just a junior technical Takrade constituency. Nancy, they say, no, your cock Takrade, Ken in your 96, Ben Chapo, your 61, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, and your 462, Dr. Duchum, when you be, and a Kobeja Japan in your back. Just on no can the agent on Kawan Trabana Mano. One Tramano, or a Takradono. The vote in you, everyone voting you.
The result. What's I was saying, I'm a mystery.
We're saying,
Mamma positive note. I mean, you see, chips are engine call. You see, Yamaha. You save. Hello, Yusuf. Yusuf, what's the name? Yusuf Chepsa. Yusuf. Okay, Abusia for Yashu Yusuf Eja. Young Queen. Since if you're delegate, you have been one.
Yes, I will.
What's the name? The agent.
That's all campaign manager. Or campaign manager or one way in the show called body to see one after election the another person can yeah share almost candidates in a coin as far as Nipa and what we do gathering in that's what my zero them no you still are using for mine
okay you see what's the main comment okay mpacho na ne kenkan no wo certificate note akenkan no mwawi ana okay ene ma ahwefo mo hwe yen so enti result no
yo mami na was na me banchia ya response ye people bi sabi amapa yidi kan bo amane ye so bi mo certificate no kwa abato yidi ya jojo na ye chance amapa no so no ya pempem so a say na NPP for no ade so no mi no pepe na abato mbe na wi ye na no mi no na mpanifo kan ni ma nyina gu ma o mo hwie nkrata no di gu adaka ni gu table so ni nsensofo ni apotifo ani yitifo twa mo hia agency ahodo mba yi na no etwa mo hia e mam ye kan ni ma ni nyina wi na no kra asem ne se nipa e beto aba e was difficult anopa no mo expect nipa eye 859 nemo nipa no mo expect no sorry 589 nipa e beto aba eye 522 552 ene tim beto aba ene edai abato mo tumi na ni nyina no mo wi na ye wura kanadi akompe ko Japan enya manu mako 160 betre 160 na ye wura plan e tampon enya eye manu mako 85 eye 85 ye wura Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia enche bia na ye vice president Ghana ha no enya manu mako 298 298 ye wura yaw odai adutum enya manu mako 9 betre 09 ena ye wura kobna ejei e Japan enya bi e wo ho Edikaje agaje ati for so mo to aba no 552 abuja edi ansei ni nyina no ya ade o mo gitu mo no mo kenkan ye eti we pie mo tifi no kwa na the results to ja no ye di yentimi indicate we na mo ya hadie yi dem nya ntia se di ohuru di kan no yewura Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia e de ohuru di kan tifi no about o mo to ye enne da yi
okay you see we say nipa no o hwe ni mu so mbeto aba no 562
Nipa na was also 589 na ni show
89 okay 589 okay yo yate yedase pa ene wa manebo yedase eja
meso meda
yanko post no for na kwesi mensa wo kwesi wewe
eja ya bela wewe
aha no chemosi ye
yo eja te bukwem ewo Cape Coast nota abaso no ko do ewo oye not for mention aha ene abato no kwena this is sound mo kwete ya ide nimka na we expect them ko ba boto aban 635 635 na we expect them ko ba boto wane aba na out of 635 komo wo boto wane aba 612 612 na oba boto wane aba rejected wan sakan e wa ha 2 no rejected na yeshe momo wujina na mo obia nye ni honorable Kennedy akompra ko Japan near 215 honorable Dr. Brian Echampo near 67 Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia near 322 the man so and honorable Dr. Osei Ebichu nisu onya 4 and oye engineer Kobina AJ Japan near 2 engineer Kobina AJ Japan near 2 it is a book ewo oye Cape Coast nota them and a result in okay ewo aha
okay that Simon Ejuma aya aze papa betem kan adai
okay
obetem kan
yo weja menkoso ana okay abusafo ye kwakopie mu ewo bantama na ora Samson Kenya meche wo Samson wotemeka mema wa ha
yeah
okay me pacho minim say ye de na hwe bi abaton de abawie ye na se ye keka bom hu obia dodo a wanya no eno so mawie ana
ya wie ya the result na ready
okay ni wadaro mami jaide amafama yen
yo but as the o kika ye no obepie mu ewo Kumasi Bantama constituency
99 899. Total votes cast 801 801. I spoiled ballot near 2 near say you know. And total valid vote cast 799. Kwabna Ajay Ejapon onya 0. Dr. Yao Educhum enya 2. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia enya 455. 455. Dr. Brian Champon enya 49. 49. Dr. Brian Champon. Honorable Kennedy Japan 293. 293 nti ye be piemu e wo Bantama constituency no say ana resource no esitie eye bi sisudua eye Kwabena Japan onya hwe wa nya hwe Dr. Educhum 2 Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ono na wini ewo constituency onya 455. Dr. Brian Champo onya 49 and Kennedy Japan enya 293 and the total valid vote cast is 799 and to say and a resource no as it here ewo eye Bantama constituency.
Okay, ora Samson mame na wasepa na se me say timu biewa Honorable Ken enya 293 Dr. Brian Champon enya 49 Saso ena Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia enya 455 ena Dr. Osei Duchum enya 2 ena Engineer Kwabena Japan de onya hye wenya hye enya sa netie. Okay, you
Yanko Manuso na Philippa Tanga Philippa ifa na wo Philippa Atanga. Mr. Philippa Junini ha na dwe number fufuro kra Philippa Atanga atemenka ye tresen sabetimi aka Philippa wa homa no so na ya hwe enti so far emana ya bobosuru nyina no dipa mienu ewe akire no ye mass no na se keka bomu a to say no yakọ constituencies be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 wo 8
tinka wo de eyide be soso a na nke be duru 9
ayi Kwabena Japan anya sen 1
Kwabena 2 3 4 plus 7 no 4 plus 7
when you're
11
out of the 8 constituencies
0 0 yeah
and Dr. Duchu so
4
okay my uncle Bernard Homra wo
okay
yes am mass no long mass yeah mass no mami na yanko Benjamin Bernard Atuata ho ewo East headquarters Bernard Otemenka akwaba
jawo
no that's how they anka omo buwe wi ansa ne aba ho anomu to bi ho
ni o ma possible be bia anti
okay
jadi wa enwehwem
okay yetie
so that dey kan ya magana bo nyina ha aba United Television so na aha ya EC headquarters na obi sa say ne ewumni aye abatwa ya to across the country ni nyina no ehon hyehyɛ ya EC penny 4 ni NPP penny 4 ne kyerɛ before finally ombeko NPP headquarters omako declare results final results ni nyina no so EC kabum enti baby ayakeka ni nyina bum 16 regions no aha and ye ni nyina o region by region EC directors na ewo region ni nyina no ediom results ni nyina pepa na according to Ura Frederick Tete director of research monitoring and evaluation no chese omo dedicated WhatsApp line na email and no model results na certified nti omunya copy ne sa na eja omo hwem na party reps ewa ha no no and as individual presidential aspirants reps na e wa hanom no mo de akira mo de kira mo obi a certify no on so hu se obi bia ye bokoa na eja o ma di atum no mo de aye akeka bibia sie di man sana results o benya wa hanom no mo de kupi mu NPP headquarters but me ka say e be pie mu wa hanom no nipa enum a ejine mu no yensa na reps ebedu hanom sisia Williams Alexander Ojiremu Oya executive aid for Ura Kwabena Japan ono ewa hanom sei Ura Samika ono ejirema Ura Kennedy Japan ono so ewa hanom sei ena nipa mienu a omo ejiremu ama Ura Pawumia eye Ura Fuseni Isa ono na oya former MP for Kakwe North ena one Kwabena Apia ono sa nipa mienu no omo ejiremu ama Ura Pawumia nipa mienu aka ne de ikusa wona twen mu se isi eboaboa no ona bibia da kwamia omo share resource name from various regions no omo so baba be pim na omo ya na ntie se abato no mutu NPP headquarters ntie no so ma count na as a region in the name of the Ghana 16 regions nika NPP headquarters region no a 17 regional reports and our results and omo ji sisia ti isi asu ha de ubigire mu hanoma sabi isi penina nkasa de uhun wa ha na mo mpenifu a ejine mu kukudama omo hwe madwumedi nyina akọ na wie we are deputy director of electoral services we are Samuel Dr. Kwa ena we are Asante Kesi bani ba mienu nyina ye deputy director of electoral services ena we are Fetete ekamho together with their IT team mpenifu a omo kusu a omo toto enyoma gidigidi e wa anu se omo make sure say if you make almost start to cry a resource in the no almost can see in na in 24 certifier reps now and certifier and on the bema na get bibia ato amount for enim no normal people if my go yasum bra na yabo 2:55 PM we are 2:55 na results of Sibia if 125 constituencies 125 constituencies that are near about 255 now results that the PM honomo now Uraba Umia LED with 39,071 58.4% and you Ura Kennedy so at 13,778 and so 20.6%. And Ura Brian so 13,144 and so 19.65%. Tamani about 255 125 constituencies provisional there and so on majority and also said near Ebo Bano and the Gusua how to see and the crater for ma Yabema Ghana Ashafo native for Nina Aso Ate.
Yadase Benatha and I Tenenka a free easy headquarters no. They said yeah Kenyina no the ayati nti se yisi ne ba na obeje nkrata ni nyina awie na oje microphone na okasa the yisi beka no na final for now ne de omo akeka no ya na musufo de ba no na yenso atwetwe de mamo
okay yeah Philippa afei na waba Philippa tanga Philippa tamenka memo ha
abna betonka
okay Philippa na hefa na wugina sesi
Mijina lejokuku ewo session.
Okay.
Sammy abato na be ye. Ama provisional results na you ready.
Okay.
Na me kan. Omo center no na ye miensa. Enti omo ba miensa no ma chiche mu. Center A Kennedy Japan enya 117. The other center enya 121. Enya ni etoso miensa enya 264.
Okay.
Line Champo first center no onya 42. Ni etoso mi no onya 75. Ni etoso miensa onya 66.
Okay.
Dr. Baumia first center onya 264. Second one onya 265. Third one onya 369. Dr. Educhum first center onya 0. Second center onya 1. Third center onya 0. Ora Kwabena Japan first center onya 1. Second one onya 0. And a third one onya 1. Okay. Kikani na bomwa. Ora Kennedy Japan enya 502 total. 502. Ora Brian Champo enya 183 in total. Dr. Bawumia enya 898 in total. Dr. Educhum enya 1. Ena Ura Kwabna Eje Japon enya 2. Nisi Subiuma in total. Kennedy Japon enya 502. Brian Champo enya 103. Dr. Bawumia enya 898. Dr. Educhum enya 1. Ena Kwabna Ejapon enya 2. And the provisional results are abandoned abana.
Okay, mo ni ejuma papa koswa na fo wani di echi di BCB aso ma UTV ahwefo nso ehun bi.
Baby Edward de okoda.
O se bia na ya the certified one.
Yes sir. Yanko Ibrahim that's e wajuma ko. Ibrahim, what me ka bo so maye?
Yo, eja kwabana eja abebedu miro katem pempene no ejina ko yen afiam aya abato mpeso aso ye de abato no ni nyina aba na wiye dia na anka manfo susu ebeti wa yen aha aya adwobro bibia da form boko asomdwen ko a na ekoso ejina ko yen afiam na empempra me no kase ye de abato sunsu asoro nyina aba na wiye no na enipa na ye hwe enimu senko betime nya kwanya ato aba enyina 928 and also munya kwenya betwala me no kase mpempere no emu 845 and it munya kwenya ebeto aba ewo ha na ye kenka be nyina ewie no na Kennedy akompreko e Japan Kennedy akompreko e Japan ono etimi anyemu 373 and onia bra tampon esu etimi enya 168 Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia also enya 297 and ya ose edukum enya 5 and kwabena e Japan also enya hwe ewo ho and yenya rejected ballot mienu and it me say and nipa 83 and ntumi enya kwenya ama beto aba ewo aba ekoso kwegyina kwenyi na fiam eya abato empeso aso na meno kasa mpempere de ya manfo ekanyina ne se asomdwe eno modo to aba no do mo de hye no eno na mo asan edi awie enti se Nyankopon aya adom ne nkunibia akọ ama Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia ya de Nyankopon ase do lusi bia no ono so do mo nyina se ya mom no ombe ka bom na Nyankopon ya adom a 2028 abato no omo giri se bi bia kwa wie na se nkunibia kwa badia ombe ka bom no ma ya dwumade na da NPP ama ye ko nti ta kwa bana obi se ami asei na abato no susu aso ko piemu ewe adwuma ko enye na fiam abato empeso aso
me da se ye wo constituencies bebre nti we no kakra bi na ye nena mu ye nyanya nyina ye nti obi anya ni nkunim as we speak enya de obi a edi nkunim age se yisi bobo no nyina so wi ansa nti adwuma ko enya ne sam mensi ni mu abato empeso aso no wo wa kan Japan enya 373 Brian Champon enya 158 afi Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia enya 297 ena Dr. Duchum enya 5 inum ena owura kwabraje Japan so de wanya bi kura nti eno ene asemu a ewo ho abena
eja ye say kwa homa ne so minyo otime nka me mo wa ha
Hello, me Joseph Papa.
Okay, na wujina hefa sesiye.
Amenfi West. Edi na ekrami.
Okay, ene mayenti we.
Yo, mamema etiefo aha ene awie na NPP amanyoko aba wo mo eto no enne no. Ubepi mu amenfi West a. Edi ekoye yenie. Kennedy akompreko e Japan, wana Kennedy Japan enya 147. Brian Echampon, Enya 159. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Enya 467. Oseya Educhum, Enya 8. Governor Ejapon, Enya 1.
Okay.
Rejected, na 2. Uwe Pimo Amenfi Westa. Dudu wa mo heading to Baba to Abano. 857 ɛnti saa ɛna akɔ so ɛwɔ amɛnhyi west abatoɔ no kɔ awie yɛ nɔɔmiɛnsa ana nɔɔmienu wɔn kenkan bi awie na nɔɔmiɛnsa timanso afa nɔɔmiɛnsa ho electoral commissioner owura John Asare ne de ne nsa ahyɛ ɛyɛ pepɛyase a yɛde ama yɛahwɛfo ɛwɔ UTV.
Okay, mo ni adwuma pa yɛda ase paa wabɔ adwuma nti ne na abɛkɔ kopɛ ɛyɛ abuju nso ɛyɛ special eyes egu minimum na wo de ahome so yɛda ase paa eja
eti so far yenya how many constituencies
1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 okay 12 no 11 isi honum no munya nyewe sa hanti
11 so far yenya 11 eti ohwe ni nyina baby a yakobia no Dr. Baumia ene di nkunim wo ho
yeah apart from
ejumako enya ne siam hon kwa na wura kare Japan
enya 379 yeah ene kwa gap no close
so say Brian
I'm fi also I'm fi Brian LED wo yeah I'm fi and
147 and 159 yeah
okay Daniel Asempa awo hohoi Daniel Asempa yes our boss
yes our
Maye
Pacho yewie
ane bobo maye why
Pacho hold on
hold on me try on untina me wa ha Ujumana nyezi o.
Ana ngo. Thank God.
Oh hohoi. But enti hohoi de na ye twen se yes.
Hello. Pacho Pacho Ken enya 246 ena Brian enya 167 ena Dr. Baumia enya 196 ena yaw nchuwa nya 3
ana Japan so
Pacho hello Pacho
Canada kwa beje Japan nya sai
Kobna Japan nya 1 Pacho en
eti
2 and a four ballot here with one.
Okay. Enti Canada Japan nya sai
Kennedy Japan enya 246.
Okay. And a Brian Champon
245 sorry.
245.
Pacho en.
Okay. And a Brian Champon
Brian Champon nya 167.
167.
Pacho en.
And a Dr. Baumia
enya 196.
196.
Pacho en.
And a Dr. Educhum
enya single 3.
And a Quebec Japan sunya single 1.
Japan enya bakupe.
Jo mo ni adwuma we dey wa bre Papa plan for 3 days bi ma me wate. Kakra be ye. Dance papa o di fi hoho ne baaye. Adwuma na di o na from kra. Abena obi obabi a ye hwanti ahanso hoho no wo ka na Japan na edi nkunim. Na Baumia tosumi no na fei Brian tosumi nsa na Duchum tosumi na kro Japan.
Okay. Bebe si yakwa ifia constituency ni ya James Akwete ekasa. Mi Akwete. Mi Akwete otemenka. Oh, unfortunately, ya mesen nti eguso wa ipuso ahoma na nya na wo de hono mama ne bo amaye. Beja wutimi switch kasa ne pa o. Ubo mi ya basu de we usika no no. Wo so nkope ni endi.
Akwe perfect de chira. Na ho na fa yi. Eti so de gusua de report ne ba. Isi anya almost 12 constituencies. 13 constituencies. so far no the beka se be mienu na reckon Japan okay ewuto senya East ho na Jacob Kubi wo mebo a Jacob
hello
aha I'm over that's right Yankwai
yo aha ewuto senya East na so be pie mu aha te enya asemkuma enide aba papa afi 2013 omutu abano afi 2023 omutu abano oronya for Kennedy ohini Japan ewini ewa hafa ya na enya asemkuma ene so yetu abano tena na nkrofo nim ni kanene ene ambanisa asesa kra wona mo na ka abato komisa ehwe mo enim sa komba beto abano omu nyina omu ye 519 na abato komisa ehwe mo enim se akomubaba aba beto abano naso no yekowi ase no enyomu nyina no omu bae omu bae no 1375 ene betumi beto abano na ya omu to abano ewie ye no tene ekoye enie Honorable Kennedy ohini Japan enya 454 Honorable Brian Tampon enya 119 ena Dr. Mahmoud Baumia former vice president into enya 794 former education minister ya edutum onya abanu 8 onya abako 8 ena yeda kobra Japan onu de wenya bikura onya hwe wo yomutu ya na abani de ese no su ya enum nti so be pie mu wa ha sisi idea wona omota ya Dr. Mahmoud Baumia etinu omweni aje papa enye asemkuma na kobra abra abatu ono ekoso no omo ye ne se abato na ekoso na ensese obia edi ni phone evra inside ekotwa mfoni na abayo ba ko de odu gate na no omo hwe ni tibia ni niema mo oye na onyo bekwa kotwa ntomo ti ni phone edi to ho mo onya kwa wura inside ye tini ka ta ma ni son koto aba na no di na danfu bi phone so odu kotwa no wi awasene ama no ho okodu ho mo a otwa ya police for edi ni mu kwa abra omo nu ewie ye no na omo ni no ma side for na omo de ni kwa ono ka te phone enye ne dia o phone enye ne dia na mo si phone ho dia na obo adanje bi dia se ne dia ono to mi no ka te a police for afa no edefo owi enu free mu a bibia ensibiom a police for no wa ha pa ya to aba na ewie nso no omo hwe nim se obi abekọ kodu se asundwom a obi emfa ne sa enka obi a
na yenyane tiasa bra na ai ha wakunsa no pa na hyase no onyafo ha wakunse se bibia na nani ha na abato no eno akiri bibi san si bio
na bibia ainsa si bio na wona omo ya etitafo na omo wo ono na afa no no mo chemu se efie abato no mo to omo nyamu ye nwia no mo je yo mo wa pa se obi a se bi nani enye yetumi nti na efifie aba bebia yebeto aba na watumi ite honorable nka na ojo honorable wona me pese wuso mimu ede ko na popo ami na metu ma ba oman pra na omo ni ma mi ni yi nsema no ehye omo pa ye se omo nyina omo ye nuanu ma omo pese omo di omo ye ma mi sa no ahye omo pa ba na chi no ma mi no wan ka hwe okokotena tidin a o hwe sa abato no ebe ko so atunje ami no kate ya to abato aba no ewia obia eko ni fie omo musu esu wona omo treso etre wona omo muna so emuna
ene sa na be ya no kwansi wo ye dan abako na bedi nkunim ti beda se papa ye na musini Jacob Kubi ena ode we fi ewutu senya is nti na ho no ora kana Japan 2023 dia omoto ye no no di nkunim by this time around no atani onya 454 ena Robert Chaponya 119 Dr. Baumia enya 794 ena Dr. Duchum enya 8 engineer Kwabeje Japan wanya bi
ye kona James ahoma na eteko James wa ba me ma wa ha
ina wa ba cho me joso
okay na wugina he fa sabre ye
Patrocity Areno Casi, no, a fear constituency. Okay. A fear constituency, no, a Philippa no to about Hona, Nipa 501, Nipa 501, and let's say to about. Now, you could be certain, Nipa 13, na Esim, out of 501, Nipa 13, na Esim. So, meaning say, na Nipa more expected to bet to Abani 488. Now, out of 488, and so 483 in a bet to Abano. Na yera Kennedy Japan in 64. In the young four Brian Champon in 75. Yera Dr. Mahmoud Baumia in 343. Yera say Bichum in 1. Na papa engineer Japan no de onyashi. Rejected near 0. And she uba Asian constituency abato no the course ni. Na mesan chita mesan wo kwesimi team result. Okay. And yes. Ube Pimo a question Nipa let's say 417. 421 rather 421. Nasa Chiri about 20 Nipa na between 417. 417 rejected year 1. Yera Kennedy on Japan in year 107. Brian Champon in year 76. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia in year 233. And Dr. Yawibichum in 0. And engineer Kwabne Japan and 0. And also about 1
James said Timu Biomame, Yera Ken in saying
Pacho Yera Ken in 107. 107. Brian Champon in 76. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia in 233. 233.
Okay.
Yera Bichum in Yashi. Yera Kwabne Japan and 0.
Okay, 80 episemede ye kweche kakra efia Yera Ken enya 54, Dr. Brian enya 75, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia enya 342. 43. 343. Okay, 343. And Dr. Educhim enya 1. And engineer Kwabne Japan enya 0. Okay, and kwesi mintim de Yera Kenya 107.
107.
Dr. Brian 76.
76.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia 233.
33.
And Dr. Educhum ne engineer Kwabne Japan do munya hwehwe.
Munyina nya akukoti.
Okay. Major results James. James money ejuma ko specialize mu a chele na bogu bo. Why are dear pa? Why? Seren wa mama sireja
ye benya no Abdullahi Abdul Kadir ewo ahoma no so wote me ka kwa ba
eyiso
na bibia boko
nyame adom
ya bubu awie
okay yo sisia me wo na Brongu Central na resource exam ti say na Brongu Central resource can nya 38 votes. Brian Achampon 141 votes. Dr. Aduchun now 3 votes. Kwabna Ajay 1 vote. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia 501. Total value vote cast 684. Rejected 2. Uko Nabdam constituency. Ken Ohini Ajapon nya 15. Dr. Brian Achampon 53. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia 231. Dr. Yao Ose Aduchum nya 2. Ana Kwabna Ajay Ajapon 0. Total ballot cast 302. Total value vote 301. Ana rejected 1 vote. Uko Binduri constituency. Boku Central, Ken nya 142. Brian Achampon nya 87. Ana Dr. Mahmoud Baumia 443. Dr. Aduchum nya 0. Kwabna Japan 0. Uko Binduri constituency. Ken Ohini Ajapon nya 168. Brian Achampon 130. Mahmoud Baumia 120. Ana Yao Ose Aduchum 14. Kwabna Aje Ajapon nya 0. Total valid vote 435. Total rejected 3 votes, and a total valid vote in that constituency here 438. Until to see a constituency result, Anna Epita.
All right. Kadu me pacho. They can Navogo Central no. Sambo Bosman Navogo Central.
Yes, mean Sambobo.
Yeah.
Okay, so Navogo Central can Ohina Japonia 38. Brian Champonia 141. Dr. Mahmoud Baumianya 501. Dr. Yao Aduchum Enya 3 votes. Anna Kwabna Aje Ajaponia 1 vote. Total vote cast na any valid vote cast 684. Rejected 2.
Okay. All right. Yabadasi papa. Yadasi pa. Muni ajumanso. Yadasi.
The other 3 constituencies, no, just we saying team
why? No problem.
Enti me call Nana Kofi Honom. Nana what's me nka mema ha.
Mommy pacho mema ha.
Nana ya kenkan ya wie baby a wo Medina meboa.
Mama chai Medina ya no.
Okay, any fa ho ama ne boma ye results net saying.
Na uba Medina technical institute baby a TVET service school no na. Omuye vote ni wie ye no. Sena bidin kan chemu wo mama ne go edikan no. 2 police stations and ombeto o wan ba wa ha. Now Usha first police station delegates from Tescon UPSC Ayime so ya refer pan time Usha Sam Yamia Hona Hono Kennedy Japan in 235 Dr. Brian Champon in 78 Dr. Baumia in 366 Dr. Yao Ose Edichum in 1 and engineer Kwabna Eje Japan unya 0.
Okay.
Second polling station no. Delegates from American Man Mosque, North Legon, Tatana North and South, Social Welfare North and South, and Quantanine East and West. We shall also about 20 muna. Kennedy Japan inya 256. Dr. Brian Echampon, Enya 79. Dr. Baumia, Enya 394. Dr. Yao Ose Educhum, Enya 2. And engineer Kwabna Eje Japan, Onya 1. And rejected ballots are Enya Waha 2.
Okay.
But you're winning a maneba.
Okay. So we can say we match A and B na A no consist of Tesco ne diaka meboa. Honorable Kenya 235, Dr. Brian 78, DMB Enya 366, Ore Duchum Enya 1, and Dr. Engineer Kwabana Enya 0. And I also B now because social welfare, any others no more can boom on so. Honorable Ken Enya 256, Dr. Brian 79, Dr. Mahmoud Bomianya 394, and Dr. Duchum Enya 2, and Engineer Enya 1. Yes, sir. Okay, me that's pa.
And rejected ballot in our A2.
Okay. Abum test comfort there and now that social welfare. Okay. Mate.
Will you know my we are boss today? William Mata.
I don't come about what you got.
It's here.
You, Sunyani West, the Sia make us say, Oma kind, Abano, na AV. Na unse edika mikase ahano polling center no na oba polling center bia Yura Kennedy Japan onya 63 na Yura Brian Champon ensusu enya 69 Yura Baumia enya 326 na Yura Yao Addiction onsu enya 1 na Yura Intinia Japan onde onya 0 na rejected ballots no 4. Now, Jacob Naba polling station A no and so on. Yura Kennedy or Hini Japan, Unya 109, and Yura Brian Champon, Inya 98, and Yura Mahmoud Baumia, Inya 315. Yura Yao or say Edichum, Onusu, Inya 2, ɛna ɛyɛ kwabena agye Japan nso enya 3 nipa so aba ni na 527 na emu baako ɛna ɛsɛyɛ ebi ɛda kwabena over ha ya meka sɛ ɛyɛ ewura Dr. Mahmoud Baumia wuri adi kan a ɛka sɛ siam kunimbi ɛna ɛyɛ ewura Dr. Mahmoud Baumia dia ɛwɔ ha
enti sɛ yɛhwɛ police station A and B na ayɛ na waka abom ɛsan sɛ yɛ Sunyane West sɛ ne be wo sɛ Sunyane West dodo a obi anya yɛnie yɛne A and B na nɛsɛ akyekye nti bɔmɔden na yes a calculation no na yɛtumi
san ɛda kwabena ne me de ɛno ma mu tia
okay that's okay
ja mameko Steven Secretary honom ne yene wono so yenje ne ho de Steven no teme nka me ma wa ha
ya na me dia ma
na wo ho te say awie anwumre yi
me dia ba nyanko pa so no ye ba
ba bia wo gina no ye keka bomu no mpacho omawi ana asem guso
ya me dia ba jo ye wo Jacobu ewa Manchester Central.
Okay.
Ewo ana Ototo Free constituency. Omo dia no eti ba so. Nyame adon eti ana omaka ya FA. Na abato no ebe sa dia na ka omo hwe ni mu ze nipa 764. Nipa 764 ande be tia beto aba no. Na so Ototo Free omo tu wie ye no. Ne nipa 718 718 and the three ever 2 years. Omo editing ballot press no edi answer. Nebom omo three years no. Na nipa baako na wato ama bienu. Research no omo yi di free. The attack cancer rejected ballot no. Baako and the team PM ewo Doto Bill constituency ewo Asante Mantemo. Omo kenka amani na wie ye no. Na yewura Kennedy wa ina Japan. Wanya emanimu 183 183 and Dr. Ben Champon Esunyemu 119 119 and Yewura Dr. Mahmoud Baumia also Minya Manimu 407 407 if you Dr. Bri Ebarano yet was Dr.
Na Steven Engineer Kwabena J and Dr. Duchum dia wa moso
Dr. Bishum enya 6 Asia 6 ana Dr. Bishum enya ye ana yewura Kwabena e Japan enso enya single 2
okay
ana otimi enya ye
okay
enti yewie ni nyina na chese uba Dr. Bura ye ni de etimi ko kan fa no Dr. Mahmoud Baumia ona otimi nya amanimu 407 407 na chese ye free Dr. Bura e ba eno no.
Okay, Steven
mo sabe ya so ye dis dem ewo ye go to drink ba ko ebe ha so a omuso de etina ba bie ye sesia
okay
ye nsa etimi abeka
ho ne ye he
etina ba bie ye metra new abibiati constituency
okay
new abibiati say and the go ye were Kennedy Japan enya 190 and Dr. Ben Champon enya 130 130 after Dr. Mahmoud Baumia enya 234 234 Dr. Duchum enya 17 17 and Kwabena Japan enya single 1 new abibiati rejected ballot na 1 and the party to esime to abano also 573 na je free new abibiati and so was Asantemu ever and no.
Okay.
Yes, Adansi Akrofo, Adansi Akrofo, almost to be every. Adansi Akrofo, as well to be here. You better go to the other to be Abuja. Adansi Akrofo, almost to be every. The other almost share near my country almost.
Okay. Okay. Okay, you better surpass Steven. Now, I want him say outer phone so dear Abba.
You call Bridget or upper menya crobo. Bridget, what's a make come? Bridget. Bridget, young Bridget, it's my point. Oh, Minister, you know. Bridget ma point lo wa maya no maba nti ye nya Bridget ya ye beko apamenya krobo na fe de ho no o de aba na ye de ahihye so ye besre se constituency bia na eni agiti se ye be ya center A and B ya woka center A B ni boom a na aye constituency ba woka center A D center B D ni a aya na ye kakra na mo ne hujuma sama ye so constituency we no dia wanyanie we so dia wanyanie na e bo so kakra so far e betumi aka se baby ba kwa ye call ye na ye kwa na vrungo no ye bobo so namdam honso okay, yanko we jagba we Prince Amati wo. Amati,
the number you're calling is busy.
Don't say that. Don't say that. We are serious. We are near break. Amati.
Hello, Eja.
We jagba we mo wi wa hu.
Me pa chan we jagba we abane ni nyina abane wi ye.
Yo, ene yanko e.
Yo. Said the so no ekoye ye e wo we jagba we. Ebra abato nyina eba ewiye na isi official wa ha ehwema ye kan eye abani nyina no say na instanto no ekoye ye na aha no centers na eye mienu center A ni center B enti say the instanto no ye eni ken ohini e Japan e wo center A no onya emanu mu 174 e wo center A ena Dr. Brian Champon enya emanumu 83. Sanso ena Dr. Baumia enya 278. Hello, Yantinga.
I'm here, Kasa.
Okay. Enti Dr. Baumia so enya emanumu 278. Ena eye honorable ya osei edutum enya emanumu baako ewo eye center A ha na eye uru aye friend no se kwabra eje Japan ono enya emanumu bi ewo center eye A ho na ohwe bi no so a ohwe bi na se de no so ekoye ye ni eye ken no hini Japan enya emanumu 193. Dr. Bane Champon enya 110. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia enya 272. Ena ura ya ozeduchum enya manumu 5. Ena ura eye kwabna eje Japan enya emanumu baako. Enti eja se woka ni nyina eboma we gagba we said results no A and B ni nyina woka boma ekoye no ken ohini Japan enya emanumu 367. Dr. Brian Echampon enya 193. That's now Dr. Mahmoud Baumia enya 550. Ura ya osei educhum enya emanumu miensa. Ena ura kwabna J Japan ono enya hwe. Enti total registered voters ana yehwe ntoma beto abano. Eye 1239. Na emu 1117 enechimi ebeso ye nya rejected votes ya and total vote cast no ejina 1117 no a enti eja se me san etimu bi wa ye kan ni nyina ebo mu no ora ken ohimi Japan enya 367. Dr. Bayane Champon enya 193 sorry. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia enya 550 aya 550. Ura ya osei educhum enya emanumu 6. Ura pabreje Japan enya bi ntieja we gba we constituency said e ba no ehihye no ekudie.
Okay. Ajeka mati mo ni adwuma wa ya de papa eda se no ma ne bo enti de si o we gba we so eno ne se honso Dr. Mahmoud Baumia ena ne ma no ekosoro pa na you reckon Japan to sumi no abna is somebody on the line?
I will be what I know. So, me, I want to make come more.
What are you, Mr. Joso?
Miss Minya Bene, can say you.
What a Quabrana, okay, Quabrana, would you know? The governor can say, Mr. Atibu Mountain.
Oh, okay, and you are my you.
Yo, many about the chair for the report, but I think we will maintain the day. About 20 no, up on a year. Ama about 20 group. You know what that law when we have for Kennedy. Edison Sansona to Abontain. Ama Nipan Mom, Mijana Nina, Musifor, Michel agents. Edward Monsa, he shared pink sheets, and Aji Atum. And Edison Sanswa, a buyer, and a day what it will maintain any. Nipan 964, 964. And a normal Musomba to Abani B and a day. We are seeing. Nipa 890 and a babe 2 year. Na say NSU Sansoni Koye. Honorable Kennedy a Japan enya 82. Dr. Brian a champion enya 155. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia enya 633. And no achi Honorable Oseyaw Aduchum enya 8 and up engineer Quabra Japan and so enya Emmanuel 4. The essay ye Makumako and what tree, way ne, the Abaso away at Tebu Amante maximum. Now ye the any so away Puru West ya. Say and what the so Ecocoye ye. A ye Nipa Makumako 439, 439, and a necessary Mutua Bani be a year. Nipa a 2B a 424, 424. Honorable Kennedy a Japan enya Emmanuel Makumako 38. Dr. Brian a champion enya Emmanuel 82. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia enya 299. Honorable Oseyaw Aduchum enya 1 and wenya ye and a engineer Quabra a Japan and so enya 2 and no a Pro West. Na yakwa 3 East so swap. Say no so acquire ye. And if I don't want to 399, 399. If we are there, name 374. And to me about Kennedy a Japan, honorable, Onyamu 50, and Onyaye. And what Dr. Brian a champion, Enya 102. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, Enya 215. Honorable Oseyaw Aduchum enya 6. Honorable Oseyaw Aduchum enya 6. And engineer Quabra a Japan when ya Bakokura ewo. Yes, say Bakupe. Say ye prefer is near Bassini West Suswa. Nipadu to a ballon ebi 450. Now almost running say Nipa 480 and a bet one. Nevia Siano, when we have Kennedy a Japan enya 44. I pay Dr. Brand a champion enya 156. And no achi Dr. Mahmoud Baumia enya 237. Honorable Oseyaw Aduchum enya Manimu 10. And the engineer Kwabna a Japan and Susunya 2 away Sini West. Now the Abuano every a year far east a year about 1 person Makumako and 9 SO NA.
Why are dear money mapa a janan
me kwa you
okay
me kwa han ofeo
Jacob
nice man him for now
efutu dia na bebe
okay yanko
yo efutu no so about to commission na enkopodu da na o show mweni ta ka number be to abano 777 Oboyera ba ebe to abani pa mane AFFI na oboto abani wiye no Honorable Kennedy ohine Japan enya abano mu 644 Honorable Gani Echampo enya 32 and Dr. Haji Mahmoud Baumia former vice president enya abani 79 Dr. Educhum enso enya 0 onu enye bikura and
I see. Internet is a futuno. Oshia Dr. Reckon Japan enya 644.
Yes, 644.
Brian 32. Dr. Baumia enya 79.
Yes.
Dr. Dutu de Obi Antoine Mano. And Kobeje Japan nya mienu. Bo ni adwuma yɛdanse pa yɛdanse nti efutu abato pressure so na ɛno ɛna yɛsa kan sisi a ɔde aba na hɔ no otum sɛ Kennedy Japan hwiri kɔ soro pa Fear marking. With the side. Okay. Okay. You better share the constituencies in our baby or more MPs. And we be only MPs. You should vote. We know now you're front to two share they say you say and also who be here. And see you go so at the resource no but so far you more than 20 polling stations and constituencies, Mr. Na you go so the aka nyina be so mo so nti abena ye be ani abonu pan Senate East and Senate West yen saka na infantry bill obi aba ho
nti yen ko tema Central August na day ewo ahoma ne so oge o teme nka me ma wa ha
yo mejo so busy ya fene tema Central de o ma to abani na ewie na Nanga, nipa serve to abano 765 and I guess on beto. Now so total beto 674. Now valid votes 672. Rejected 2. And one man beto 91.
Okay.
Abani be answer. Now the call result as far as I vote a woman Kennedy Ohine Dapon in 311 votes. Dr. Brian Achampon in 30 votes. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia in 327 votes.
Okay.
Dr. Yao Osei Edichum in 2. And Engineer Kwabna Edapon in 2 votes.
Okay.
Messiah Studio. Kennedy Ohine Dapon in 311 votes. Dr. Bana Champon in 30 votes. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia in 327 votes. And Dr. Yao Oteri Chumina 2 votes. And Engineer Kwabna Edapon in 2 votes. Okay. About 2 Abani Nairi or Tema Central. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia and a emerging winner with 327 votes.
327.
Yeah, 327.
Okay, 327. Okay. Okay, yo. Mo ni ejumapa. Why are dear pa? Eja.
The Central and that difference is just about 16 votes. Between
and also 311 and then 227. Yeah.
Yes, it's about 16 votes. And Dr. Baumia DBT. But so far, no, the best I can say contest, no. Ewo nipa miensa ai obudikan no
ntem
babu shepa dia number 1 and number 3 wo na ura kan Japan ne Dr. Baumia said the prediction nyina akoye no so na ka say wo the main contenders no
but just a surprises kakra about because Dr. Brian and Dr. Beboa
sene
but so far votes now
sene Eastern West ni kan Japan sene East say no onya 102 Kennedy nya 50 sene West onya 156 Kenya 44 meaning say sa sene ho no nyama ko yie kakra fa
odosu ko ho the night age
I think say the main aim is say Brian's presence no any number ya opuli no will say if the party had an option for example Baumia against Brian a champion that would have also been a different story altogether because for him to appear the first time now opuli that you know and I had a campaign so I'll compare on Abichum and Yakwabna who said they are not anywhere closer to him. He was very serious on the ground. And also I yielded that result.
The first time
exactly. Because on the stage I don't know any way of carrying it's more appealing. It's more appealing. Tinka everyone say on Kennedy Japan kwa and now only Baumia kwa and also that
we said kwa can say or share the post no no who say Dr. Benchampon Kennedy Japan votes
and that is clear it's obvious It's obvious.
Because we share a lot of areas now. Can you so what the bank didn't can get them but you see at this stage you need to yes analysis we can say votes need free can one buy
we need all the numbers and then
he's done a very good
first time
you see, I two horse race be more.
The third horse no is due. That is a bit far from the first two.
Why is that? A year may cry your money region. Region. So drew no anko ya ma brain.
Yeah.
Because na me say nya from Eastern Caucasus ne there. Yeah. That solidarity no betumi ewe mu kakra. Because we share Dr. Baumia almost all the northern parts now. Yeah,
there's one thing about Swedro. It's Swedro no almost share boundary with that sin. Oh, I choose Swedro. We say we were na we see. Kita ko debi kakra ho. And to me I was not surprised say came to me
kakra ho sa. Okay. Oh, I see. No crepa. Nti you say aka ayi.
Njeja. Said e name siko on a more serious note. Me ready idea na you know Musa Dankwa, a 7 years experience at the two line now also for Peninsula 27 years of knowing God and God speaking to him. It's so clear. The okay be answer you accurate. I mean, it's data. See the echoes of Benina, these are numbers, these are figures. Yes, along the line because to be honest with you said so far easy so we can't say we but based on the figures you could clearly see the other one it's not just a global info analytics for a surveyor or one of some polls or whatever to kakrana abane de say a gear towards the indeed sanity and your hair also for penny and so sad I remember your rose of penny side now one of the other day you know say but one day yame adwin and okay
on a cancer
yes thank you so much let's on a kase yame adwin and or dey to ejasa enyame enimni sui
but abna mami ko tachima south umra
ko tachima
ko tachima south for the country to me kan for the country Frederick.
Yes.
That's right, man. Now I said I want baby son. Okay. But my south to me uncle.
No, south no, not police station near me, no. And the police station, no. And they did this way. You reckon Japan. In 78. Yera Brian, a champion 63. And Dr. Baumia in 517. And Yera Yaw Edition in Num and Cabina Japan Yabaco. Yakabo being 654. A B answer. You are not rejected to a woman. Now, you're Yara Kennedy Japonia 54. Yara Brane Champonia 91. Yara Dr. Bomiania 530. Yara Yaw Editumia 3. And engineer Kwabne Japan Enya 0. You can't in Suboma, you're not rejected. You never swan say, you now go my 678.
constituencies that we have certified and can tell you the results, we can tell you that Bawumia has 17,459 votes, representing 55.39%. You have Kennedy Japan with 9,415 votes, representing 28.99%. You have Brian Champon, Dr. Brian Champon with 4,623 votes, representing 14.60%. And then you have the other two. You have Kwabena Japan, who has just had 62 votes, and Educhum, who has 196 votes. And we're waiting to hear from Kwabena Japan. Results from Okankwe Central.
I'm currently at Okankwe North instead. And I want to pick up from where you just ended as to what the votes will turn out from the Eastern region, because here at Okankwe North, the delegates have chosen Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as their chosen flag bearer for the 2028 elections. And from the camp of Kennedy Japan and Brian Champon, they've already conceded defeat. And they tell us that they want the win to translate from the other constituencies, reason being they lost over here. I want to take you through the votes from the elections today. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had 436 votes. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had 436 votes. Dr. Brian Champon had 62 votes. Kennedy Ohine Japan had 299 votes. Engineer Kwabena Japan had 0 votes. And also, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum had 10 votes. And interestingly, since 1992, the Okankwe North has been a strong vote for the NPP, except for 2024, where they had to translate to the NDC. And from what I gathered from the delegates also, it indicates that they say they want Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to be given a second chance to redeem himself. And that's been what most of his agents have been telling me, is right from the start of the elections up to the end, from the counting all throughout. And most of the delegates, before the counting was done, had started jubilating for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. That was right after Dr. Brian Champon votes were counted and announced, Dr. Yaosei Educhum's votes were announced, and Kennedy Ohine Japan's votes were announced.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Stephen, with the results from Okankwe Central, Okankwe South, I believe it says he was, rather, with 436 votes for Bawumia, 62 for Brian, Ken with 299, and then you have 0 for Kwabena Japan and 10 for Educhum. And I want to take you to Eastern Region because I have a few of the votes here, so I can bring in Dr. Makasibe. Doc, you were talking about Eastern Region. I have a few from there. In Swama Duejure is the constituency of the current minority chief whip. I believe that's Arnold Dompre. And there, Kennedy had 147. Brian had 89. Bawumia has 707. Educhum has 2. Kwabena has 1. So that's a very strong performance. For Bawumia, there's 707. Kennedy has 147 and Brian has 89. I don't know if you know how they performed in the last
2.
Okay,
217, and then Bawumia had 740.
Okay, so Brian has taken from both. So it currently has 707.
And Kennedy had 217.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's taken from both. He's taken a bit from all sides there. So that's for Nsama Bridge. You go to Abuako South constituency. Abuako South constituency now, Kennedy Japan has 35. Brian has 76. So Brian beats Kennedy there. Bawumia has 457. 457 in Abuako South. So Brian has 76, Kennedy Japan has 35, Bawumia has 457. Both Educhum and Kwabena Japan, they have 0 each. What was the previous?
So this is President Kufuor's constituency, where Atachia is. And
Atachia is a very strong supporter of Bawumia.
Previously, Bawumia had 503.
Okay.
It goes down to 457.
Yeah.
previous.
This is one of the biggest ideas we've ever had to pull off.
I tweeted out that I've been sitting on this idea for a commercial, and Mark, the founder of Salesforce, responded. It wasn't really supposed to be a thing, but here we are.
We got to put together a massive social media campaign in addition to a massive production campaign. You can't be executing at this type of scale, at this type of speed without the right tools.
I couldn't fathom working on this commercial without Slack.
This is a culmination of everything we do great at Beats.
This commercial is going to be amazing.
Evan, you know, Brian used to contest elections in Suhum.
Okay.
Suhum is original base.
Okay.
He did 3 primaries in Suhum.
Okay.
2004, 2008, 2012, before he switched to Abetifi. Yeah. And so it's not surprising he comes second in Suhum.
With 119.
But Suhum is the constituency of Baumia's campaign manager, Opariansa.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, strong showing by Baumia. It's not surprising. The MP, Protozua, is also a strong Baumia person. So, Kennedy has done poorly in Suhum. Previously, he had 201.
That's significant, the previous in 2020.
37.
Yeah.
But there were about 238 people who were disqualified from the polling station album.
Do we know why?
Because there was an independent candidate in Obuafo.
Yes.
In 2024. He was an NPP MP and he ran as an independent candidate. So those who supported him from the polling station album were dead. And so, so about 230 or so people didn't vote.
But you see, Evans, one thing that is worth mentioning is the fact that what the Brian Champon team did was to identify people who could, help with the campaign. And as most politicians would do, I know certain people who were strong supporters of, say, Kennedy Japan in the Volta region, who became key followers of Brian Champon. He looked out for them, recruited them, and actually gave them a job of helping him win the elections in their part of the country. Okay, so I'm not surprised at the turn of events because you'd expect that in getting into this race, if you're Brian Champon, you know that you cannot move from zero and just become the flag bearer. You know you want to make a strong showing, and if your party doesn't win the next election, then you can come out and convince people and say, you know what, guys, this is me. I have age on my side. I've been with you all this while. Okay, why don't you give me a chance and I'll be able to help you do this? And that's exactly what he's shown.
Yes.
Because he invested his time, he invested his resources into this election, believing that he had to make a showing. And indeed, from all that we have seen, he's made a showing, and he seems to be the one who's really gained in this election.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting one. And then you make the point about this is Brian's home region, so you're expecting that he will get a lot of votes from there, and it seems to be doing exactly that.
Earlier, one of your reporters said Eastern is cosmopolitan. So even though it's Brian's home region, we have about 6 zones. There's the Krobo block, there's the Kriapin block, there is the Kwawu block, there's the Grabin block, then there's, even in the Achim block, we have 3 different Achims. Achim Buakwa, Achim Kotoku, Achim Bosome. So Eastern is not a block for one person. So you have to put that in perspective if you want to analyze his showing in the region.
But you must also admit that what Brian has done is to make Eastern region more about him when it comes to the nation's politics. Because when it comes to the NPP's internal politics, anytime there's something to be done, he's always come out to say, leave the Eastern region for me. Okay, even to the extent that in the build-up to, look, if you go to the Kwawu area, and you know this, if you go to the Kwawu area, for instance, that's Brian's area. If you want to be member of parliament within that area, you must be on good terms with him. Okay, and so in a place like, say, Abetifi, that's where he's member of parliament. Then you get to Mpraeso, that's his boy.
But my point was that he controls the Kwawu area. He might not necessarily control the Kriapin area, where you have Samia Oku. If you go to Opon Kroma's area in the Achim, so even though he's an Eastern boy, he doesn't command support across the region.
Okay, I get you. Yeah, I get you. But what he's succeeded in doing is to convince people within the Eastern region and outside the Eastern region that when it comes to the party's politics in the Eastern region, he's the man.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so very clearly, and we are seeing that now we have 47 constituencies out of 277. I mean, if we are at 47, I can bet you that all the candidates, particularly Brian Kennedy, Japan, and Bawumia, their coalition centers will possibly have almost all the centers now in. They will have it because they will set up a very efficient machinery to collate. So they know who was won and who was lost now. And Dr. Makisiweba has been very clear, although he's been campaigning for him, that as far as he's concerned, he's seen the numbers. He believes this is going to be an impossible task for Ken to surmount. I mean, with the numbers you've seen
Absolutely.
so far.
I've been looking at the percentages. So if this was going to be pushed into a runoff, but I don't think so. I think Bawumia's numbers are holding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if even he comes a little bit, he still crosses 50% for me.
It looks like it. It looks like also because of the work that Brian is doing. He's taking from both, but it's clear from the trend that he's taking more from Kennedy than he's taking from Bawumia.
So Kennedy previously got 37%. And so if he's doing 27 right now.
Yeah, that's like 10%. That's a lot.
And then Bawumia had 62 or 61.7. So he's taking more from Kennedy than from Bawumia.
Yeah, I mean, let's analyze that a bit. Why is that? Why is he taking it? He's damaging both their numbers, but he's doing far more damage to Brian than he's doing to Kennedy.
He's doing far more damage to Kennedy.
He's doing far more damage to Kennedy than he's doing to Bawumia.
Well, so if you are Brian Achampong, you're going into a campaign, you need to ask yourself a few questions. You ask yourself, first of all, of all the supporters, because you have supporters from delegates from 2023 being the same delegates. Whose delegates can I convince the most? So if you decide that I'm going into this election and my target is not to win, but my target is to make an impact, you ask yourself, whose supporters can I actually get more votes from? If you look at it, you would realize that the people that you can get more votes from would be one, Kennedy Japan. I would explain something because I know, and in conversations with some of the people, I've told you about, Brian going about to recruit in areas like the Volta region, for instance. The people I knew who were Ken supporters who had said to me, they want to go and support Brian Achampong. Their reason was simple. They said, look, when they came to the NPP's delegates conference in July last year, other candidates came out there to meet them. But Ken Achampong did not come to meet them. Mm-hmm. And so for those of them who were leaders from this region coming here, their colleagues were asking them, where is your man? Where is your man? Where is your man? Now, after that particular meeting, some of these leaders were invited by the Brian Achampong team and said, you see, come, because people had actually sent information around. They knew what was happening. He invited them, spoke to them about the dynamics in the region, said, I want you to work for me. How much will it take to work for me? So you're working for me as a consultant. And these are not people, so first of all, he recruits you to work as a consultant for him. And if you're working as a consultant, you also have following within the region. His strategy was great, okay? So if you go around and realize that, look, these people are prepared to shift camp, what would you do? You go to them. And so what you've seen is that in certain areas, there were members of the Kennedy group who were prepared to shift camp because they feel, and politics is about, beyond everything about the alternatives, it is about who gets what, okay? So people would support you also.
Who gets what, when, and how?
The expectation is that they'll get something from you. Yeah. And nobody here knows this. If they're not going to get anything from you, at the end of the day, they'll dump you and go to the next person. It's the reason you actually have certain people waiting for the motivation from all the camps before they go out there to vote.
Yeah.
Okay? So what Brian Achampong did was to effectively recruit people that he believed could work for them, some as consultants, at the beginning, but eventually had to do the job. If you've been taken as a consultant, and I know somebody who told me, my brother, this man called me and said I should come and do a presentation. He paid me good money.
And another dynamic there that could also possibly account for this is, as we're analyzing, Bawumia comes into this with the evidence of his ultimate performance in the national elections is there for us to see in the 2024 elections. So I expected that he would lose some ground because you're coming from, we voted for him after the delegates in 2023 to go and win the national elections. Then your performance, we saw the performance. So there'll be people there who definitely will question again, can he do it again for us? So that 4% that he sort of shaved off, the last 5% thereabout, that he shaved off, you can expect that because ultimately you are voting for it because you wanted to win elections. The last time we did, you delivered a significant defeat. So you expect that to happen. Then you have Kennedy's scenario. Kennedy has a significant baggage coming into it. We all know that. I mean, he had it then when they were in power, but he still managed to do a lot. So for those who are not sure, they don't want to give it to him, but they don't want to give it to Bawumia also. They wanted somebody to give it to. And then Brian pops up in the middle, sort of straddles them and pitches a camp in the middle. They give it to him.
And let me just say this. In Brian, you have a combination of Kennedy's party. Okay? You have a combination of Kennedy's I'm a party guy, I'm a hard guy, and a bit of, hold on a bit, we can do this, we can do that. Because look, when people actually published the 10 sins...
And just to quickly repeat, for those who are listening to us on radio, we now have 60 out of 277. And it appears the more we count, tabulate, and record the constituencies, Ken appears to, the numbers begin to tell us a story, because it's now at 25%.
Good.
60 out of 277. Bawumia, you're right, it's holding steady. He's now at 57.25%. He's holding steady. Brian is climbing. He's climbed just a percentage, or close to 2% now. He's at 15.55%, with 60 out of 277 already done. Yeah.
Yes. So look at it this way. When they presented the 10 sins of Brian Achampong, they said he was Ayawaso West Wogon. And in the Ayawaso West Wogon, and all the things that you think he has done which will go against him, if you're somebody who's looking for a tough man, you can see that in Brian also. Just as you would say, oh, Kennedy has this. You see that in Brian Achampong. Okay? If you're somebody who says, okay, hold on a bit, I want somebody who can really lead my party, someone who's not like we say in Ghana, giddy, 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 giddy. Then Brian comes in and says, look, you people, we're going into an election. It's not just a party election. You need to actually think about the Ghanaian population. In the Ghanaian population, if you don't like Dr. Bawumia, you might as well vote for me. And you heard him preach that all over when he went around. He says, look, Dr. Bawumia and Kennedy Japan are fighting, so why don't you vote for me? When I win, I can bring all of them together. And people bought into this kind of campaign. They bought into it, and they also bought into the fact that, look, it was not only Kennedy saying, I have done this, I've done that, I've done that, but Brian Achampong also comes in to say, oh, this is what I have done for the NPP. This is what I did. Okay? So he was able to match the narrative from the Kennedy Japan camp and also attack Dr. Bawumia in a way that said, this man did not perform. So it got to the point where you'd hear more of Brian Achampong using numbers to say, look, guys, the party's candidate in 2024 did a bad job. I can do better. And these are the figures. You're responding to him. Once you respond to him, you're bringing his campaign into the fore. Once you bring his campaign to the fore, you give him a chance to make his point again, and people get to appreciate what the man is talking about. And so I think that, look, while the Kennedy Japan was about the masses appeal, Brian was able to say, give me this job, and I cut across. If you want the masses appeal, I'll bring it to you. I'll be able to galvanize the party's base. But if you also want the middle class, I'm right there with them. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a hotelier. I've done business all over. There's evidence to show I have done this. And so I can go out there, meet them, and tell them that I understand their problems, and so they should give me the job. And that's what you're seeing.
And to what extent do you think that Ken's, look at the baggage that he came to this campaign with, I mean, and they use it against him. His previous comments, his previous public posture, which was his biggest disadvantage. And the thing was, how do you check that? To what extent would that have accounted for what we're seeing? And people then, they will not give it to Bawumia necessarily, but they would then give it to somebody else. And we've seen that they're possibly giving it to Brian.
So its results are still trickling in, but my interpretation of the numbers right now is that there's some 40% of NPP delegates who don't like Bawumia.
Yeah.
If we go to the 2023 primaries, where he also did 61%. So clearly there's some 40% who say we want a different candidate. And that's the 40% being shared between Brian and Kennedy. The other side is that Brian came out as a unifier. Yeah. So I can easily see that, okay, if the 15% is going to Brian, then it can easily come back to Bawumia.
Yeah.
I hope you get the point.
Yeah, I get.
So if I'm Bawumia, I'm happy that the votes that are not coming to me are going to Brian, and I can easily reconcile with Brian. Whereas previously, it was about 37% to Kennedy. But the Kennedy numbers are going down. And if they are going to Brian, it's not terrible for me. If I'm working with Bawumia, I'm like, okay, these people don't like me, but they are voting for Brian. Previously, they were voting for Kennedy. But now they are voting for Brian. I can get some. It's a good starting point for me to start the unification process. And then, so I think Dr. Bawumia is in a good place. 56, from 61 to 56. That's not a terrible result.
But that group of people you talk about, if they don't want to give it to Bawumia, why aren't they not giving it to Kennedy? What do you think the reason will be?
So previously they gave it to Kennedy.
Yeah, but why not now?
Because
the Kennedy hasn't changed, right? Because you see the Bawumia thing I made earlier. He went into national elections and lost. So that for him, something has happened to him that should cause people to reevaluate. But for Ken, nothing has happened. Same Ken in 2023, same Ken now. He hasn't done anything. So why are they not still giving it to him? Why is his votes appear to have dropped?
So previously, there was Adainimu and Usrefri Akuto, who didn't look strong. Okay, now there comes a Brian Champon, a stronger candidate. And so I don't like Bawumia, but I would rather vote for Brian.
Evans, the other point also is that you cannot be a surprise candidate twice. See, Ken in 2023 was a surprise candidate.
At Vistaprint, we print signs so people can see your brand up close. But we also print signs so that people can see your business here, see it here, and see it here, so you stand out. Even when they're way back here. Get 15% off signs and banners at Vistaprint.com.
Felt that the party's hierarchy was out of touch with the party's base, and Ken came and spoke their language. At that time, they hailed him. Now the party's gone into opposition. Okay? You cannot come back and speak that same language again without doing anything. Okay, Evans?
Yeah.
This is the real deal. See, if you come back speaking the same tone, same voice, same thing, people would ask you, so over the last 3 years, that you've had a chance to do something for us. Well, you say, oh, but I'm not your flag bearer, I'm not in government. But the expectation is that if you still have this ambition, you would touch base with the people. What have you done for us? And I just shared with you what some people said. You don't know what others may have said. And these things spread like wildfire. Yehushe. By the time you realize, oh, Kasankwa. Oh, Kasankwa. Doc is here. He knows he's been in the fray for a very long time. You know, in politics, if you go every time you talk and you go, if you go every time you talk and you go, the people will say, I mean, because at some point in time, the people after your talk, they expect some help from you. And the leaders of the group would expect certain things from you because the expectation is that they should also go back and tell their people, oh, the person that I brought to you, this is what he's doing. If they cannot go back and say that to the people, then they have a problem. And what you may be seeing now is when you have a Brian Champon coming in, and apart from talking tough also, being able to meet certain needs of the people, a lot of people would jump to him and throw their support behind him. Because at the end of the day, it's who gets what, when, and how. So just don't be the man who says, you see, if we're doing a national election and you spoke like that, that's it. Okay, it's good you're actually talking like that for people to believe that you are the person that your party needs. But before you get to the person that your party needs, you must also oil the base. And I remember we had a conversation, Evans, with the former member of parliament who said, you need maize for the chicken. In all of it, and Dr. Makasibe Yeboah is here, he'll tell you, after everything, you need maize for the chicken. Okay, you've done everything. And this is not to say, monocracy is good, but you've done everything. But the reality, and I believe in what Machiavelli said, that he who thinks of how life ought to be is on a path of destruction, but he who thinks of how life is on a path of preservation. Let's talk about the path of preservation. The path of preservation today is that at the end of it, you need maize for the chicken. Where is your maize?
Yeah, I mean, and another thing that we are seeing that Bawumia did extremely well in the northern regions, I mean, which is expected. But one of the areas that I also see that is doing extremely well is in the Bono East constituencies. Is completely wiping the floor with the rest of the candidates. I want to go through a few for you. The Chiman South constituency, Kennedy Japan had 132. Bran had 154. So in some of these areas, Brian is actually beating Kennedy there. But look at what Bawumia secures. 1,047. That is significant in terms of the margin of victory there. The Chiman South constituency. Duchuma has 8, Kwabena Japan has 1. And you have Kennedy Japan, I just want to repeat that, in Chiman South constituency. 132 for Kennedy. Brian had 154, so that's another area where Brian beats Kennedy in a constituency, but Dr. Bawumia is streets ahead with 1,047 there. Techima North constituency, Kennedy Japan comes in with 146. Brian had 89, Bawumia has 335, that's in Techima North. Kintampo North constituency, Kennedy has 69 constituency. Brian has 143 in the Kintampo North constituency. Dr. Bawumia has 655. And again, the trend that we've been analyzing, it's showing itself very strongly in these parts. It's just the significant margins Brian is beating Kennedy with in that part of the country is quite significant indeed and fascinating. We have Kintampo South. Same story. Kennedy has 73. Brian had 128. Bawumia had 464 in the Kintampo South constituency. In Kranzam North, Kennedy has, again, same story. Kennedy has 68. Brian had 144 in the Kranzam North. And Bawumia has 244. So you see how close that is there. But of course, Brian is in second place there, where the significant margin beating Kennedy. We have in Kranzam South, same story. Kennedy has 52. Brian had 107 there. Dr. Bawumia had 632. We have Ateubu, Amantem constituency. Kennedy has 82. Brian had 155. So in all the places I've mentioned so far in the Bono East, Brian is second place in almost all of them. By significant margins. Same story, Prue East constituency. Kennedy had 74. Brian had 131. Bawumia had 288. Prue West, same story. Kennedy has 38. Brian had 82. Bawumia had 299. And then you go to Senate East constituency, again, same story. Twice as many votes as Kennedy. Brian had 102. Kennedy has 50. And then you have Dr. Bawumia with 215. Senate West, same story there. Kennedy had 44. Brian had 156. And you have Dr. Bawumia with 237. So if you look at it in the broad scope of things, and we did a tabulation there for the 11 constituencies in the Bono East constituencies altogether, 11 of them, Kennedy comes in with 828. 828 in total. Brian had 1,391, right, in total. And then you have Baumia with 5,049 votes.
Can you go over the
Yeah, so this is the total in the 11 constituencies. Kennedy has 828. Brian had 1,391. And then you have Dr. Baumia with 5,049.
Okay, so in 2023, Baumia had 5,434 in total for Bono East. Now he comes down to 5,040, a reduction of 400.
Yeah.
Kennedy, who had 1,548, now gets 828. So a reduction of about 700. Now Brian gets 1,391. 700 from Kennedy, 400 from Baumia.
And maybe the new ones that came in.
Yeah.
So like I told you, he picks from both sides. So
but he's doing more damage to Kennedy.
Yes. Than he is to Baumia, because then what has happened? So, so one of the things the Kennedy team should look at as part of the post-mortem is what went wrong. Because if he gains more votes from Kennedy, it means that if you have this same number or these same delegates voting, what happened over the period?
Yeah, I mean, that is, for me, is the big mystery. It's a big mystery.
I've told you.
You've mentioned a few, but it would be interesting to hear his own thoughts on this. What did he do differently about the campaign, for example? Was the style the same? I think he was possibly more mature in this campaign in terms of his approach. Remember the showdown? Showdown was the 2023.
Yeah.
His approach has been calmer, and you could see even his public posture. He's tried to deal with this public persona of being uncouth and simply insulting people and running a campaign of vitriol to one that was more substance but also a calmer posture. Is it possible that, and this, we are all speculating here, and maybe you know this better than I do, but is it possible that what really made him exciting then was that he was different, he was refreshing?
It was a surprise element of...
Yes, but he was himself, was he not?
Yes, he was.
Then he was himself. Now, I watched his last social media address. This is Kennedy Japan, who is sitting in the sofa. I don't know if you watched that. Sitting in the sofa with his hand like this, speaking calmly and gently and talking to us. And I felt it was very... He didn't look himself. The Kennedy Japan I know should be standing in front of the camera and speaking, not seated in the sofa. Because that is what I've come to know. That is what I believe it was quite unique about. He wasn't a traditional politician who would do fantastic speeches and written for him. And, I don't know whether, and we said he was a grassroots person. The grassroots people are attracted to somebody who is raw, who represents them, who is not scripted so heavily, who is politically correct.
I think that...
But you have a Kennedy now, in this campaign, in some moments, he's tried to be politically correct. I don't know whether that may have played a role. And I had this conversation with you. I don't know whether it's important to mention, but I thought your analysis was very reasonable. That the NDC, you can repeat it because you hear yourself, that the party appears to have lost the middle class. Yeah. And we want somebody, because if you want to win power again, you made the analysis, and I thought there's some sense in there. You will need to appeal to the mass, base of this country, the grassroots, if you like, akin to what we have nationally. And you believe Kennedy sort of appealed to that base, right? So why don't you then let him be himself? Because that is what will appeal to that base anyway. But they tried to sort of manage him to come close to where Baumia will offer. He launched a book. And I thought that was okay. People say he's not intellectual. So let's launch a book. And then let's use that to sort of say, well, he also has something about him. Was that a strategy that possibly could work? Seeing your own analysis about what his strength really was.
So far, from the results strictly, I still see Baumia inching close to the 60%. He could end up doing about 59, 60%. So there's some 40% of the people who are like, okay, I want a different candidate. Now, some of them saw in Brian that different candidate that they are looking for. So they go for Brian. So it's that same space that Kennedy and Brian shared this time around. And Kennedy lost ground to Brian. Brian started this passing delegates to Kwawu. You know, he brought a lot of resources into this campaign. He energized the base.
So that's where he had his hotel. And
he energized the base, going around where everybody gives TNT. He was giving the most of all the delegates going out for transportation. And so now that we are doing the Monday morning quarterback, and you get to see that, this guy really, upped his game. And kudos to him for the campaign he ran. And I think going into the future, who knows?
I mean, yes, he ran a good campaign. You get to, Rock City.
Yeah.
You're spoken to. He had, and I've told you, he had people that became consultants. So, when he's bringing all treasurers of the party, he's recruited some treasurers who are consultants for him. And these people are actually talking to him, okay, and are saying, oh, we believe in what you do. Because, man, at the end of the day, this is your client who's telling you, come and do a job for me. And some of these people were people that belonged to, say, Kennedy Japan, okay? And they felt that beyond the 2023 election, there are some people who told me when I'd done my checks with them that after 2023, they did not hear from candidate Kennedy Japan. They were actually expecting him to even come back and say, thank you for voting for me. And they didn't hear from him. And they were very, very unhappy because they actually had to go against the establishment in 2023 to support Kennedy.
At great cost. Okay, at great cost to them, by the way. Yes.
So if they went against the establishment in 2023 to support you, the least they felt you could do for them was to come and say thank you. And look, if you are any candidate going around seeking election, you would hear these Kennedy Japan guys who are unhappy. What do, Evans? You talk to them. You tell them, guys, come to my side. I hear you're very influential in this part of the country. Come to my side and let's work together. I'll make sure you're happy. And once I'll make sure you're happy and you're getting something, those guys, when they go around, they'll talk to their people because they have control. They have influence. And so that's what has worked. But beyond that also, one of the things we have learned in this election is that resources, financial, are very crucial in an election. Let nobody deceive you. My brother, if you're going into an election and you don't have what it takes, step aside.
Yeah, and I've seen the details on the central region, all constituencies that the candidacy Dr. Sebeba has shared with me. I want to analyze that one return because it's very fascinating. That trend we're talking about is here. Because you see Brian's performance there is quite strong. He has 15%.
In the central region.
In the central region. I mean, a constituency, a region that is a home region for Kennedy Japan. We'll come and analyze what that is telling us because we have all the constituencies in the central region coming through that we'll look at pretty shortly. And I want to take you to the NPP headquarters now, where my colleague, Kweku Asante, has been speaking with Joe Sowusu. He chaired the committee that supervised the entire process. He gave his perspective on how the day had gone and what to expect.
Before, everywhere I went, I saw the enthusiasm and the quietness with which people were voting. It confirmed clearly that the rules we made, people were respecting it, and it assured that there will be peace. I'm so happy to see that in the end, we have finished the elections peacefully.
Yeah, the polling has closed, and a lot of stations are reporting. At what time will you start getting something from the Electoral Commission and here?
I do not want to. Yes. We gave them an assignment. When we finish, we have people waiting there. When they finish, they'll hand it over to us, and then we come and declare it here. Right. So I know almost all the conferences are finished now. They have declared, but they will go to their regions to also collate, and before they forward it to the national. So let's give ourselves a period of about 3 hours for all that to be done.
Has the candidates themselves raised any issues with you at all, or it's just been really a smooth ride?
As at today, nobody has raised an issue with us. In the course of the process, a few alarms were raised. When we followed up, there were no such things. So there was no big deal.
Thank you very much, Jose Usu, the chairman of the Elections Committee, telling us about the election and what they have done. He says it's generally been a peaceful process. They've not had complaints. They are giving themselves, give or take, 3 hours to receive the election results from the regional levels, because from the constituency, every region will collate their results. From the region, they will come to the national at the Electoral Commission headquarters. Right after that, then you come here. You see behind me, there are a lot of arrangement of chairs happening with people getting ready for an event this evening. It is 3:35, getting to 3:35 now. The party is going to hold an event here which will formally outdoor the presidential candidate. That is, if there is one. If one is elected today, they will do so. Unless, of course, it goes for a round-off, at which time the party will then decide when exactly they intend to hold the round-off. So it's really a very calm atmosphere here. You turn around, you see people around.
Not everyone's life runs in straight lines. At Sophia, we get that. Our flexible, affordable, self-paced college-level courses help thousands of people just like you complete their degrees for only $99 a month.
Who is really winning a lot of the polling stations that are reporting so far. Also, very incredible performance from Henry Nanabuache, from Dr. Brian Achampon. He also has done a lot. Let's talk to Popofo there. Just briefly. I mean, for you in Team Baumia, what is the signal looking at from the ground up? You are collating your own results. What is it looking like?
Yeah, so far, Dr. Baumia's figure in terms of percentage is around 60%. Honorable Ken is around the early 20s, and Honorable Brian is around 17-18%. And that is what I expect the final results to look like, even though we've not had the full complement of the results. I mean, I always said Dr. Brian Champon was going to take from Honorable Ken's votes, and that is exactly what has happened. But now that the elections is over, it's not a question of who got what, but it's a question of unity and how we can all come together to prosecute a good campaign and take on the NDC in election 2020.
You expect that Baumia will win this election? No runoff, nothing?
Not at all. It's a one-touch victory. Dr. Baumia is not doing less than 60% from the figures we are seeing so far. Agbena.
The former CEO of the NEIP, he says as far as they are concerned, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia is winning, and they're going to get, give or take, 60%. That is what their internal data, as they collect the result from the various polling stations across the country, is showing them. Take it back in the studio. Let's go across the country and let's get to see whether his thesis of 60% for Dr. Mahmoud Baumia gets confirmed or not.
That there is my colleague from the NPP headquarters, and that is where we are expecting very shortly in the next hour that the Electoral Commission will be declaring the final results, and then we will hear the victory speech, the concession speeches, and then we'll bring this to a close. So we're keeping a close eye on that. We understand that the stage is now set, waiting for the Electoral Commission to bring the final results in. The declaration will be done, and then we can hear what Baumia have to say, but also what Kennedy has to say. And I want to quickly update you on our results, especially for our radio audiences. And we now have 95 out of 277 voting centers. And from that, Kennedy Dupont has 24.39%. So you notice that he's dropped slightly in percentage terms, 24.39%. He has 17,675 votes. You have Brian Champon with 10,925 votes, representing 14.99%. You have Dr. Baumia with 43,193, representing 59.26%. You may have heard Dr. Marcus Boyebwa predict that he may end up at 60 or above 60, and it appears that as we get more votes, he's inching closer there. Whilst you will notice that the Japan's percentages appear to drop. And then you have Educhum with 927 votes, representing 1.29%. And then you have Kwabena Japan with 128 votes, representing 0.18%. So those are the numbers. If you're just joining us on Joy 99.7 FM, on Love, Kumasi affiliates across the country. We're also on Joy Prime. But I know most of you are mobile, and so you want to connect with us on our social media, digital platforms. We are live across YouTube. You can find us if you can just browse with us on the Joy 99.7 FM page on YouTube. You can get the Joy News page on YouTube too. We're live there. You can get us on Facebook, Joy News, or Joy 99.7. We are obviously on Twitter and across all the other digital platforms. And for those of you who are mobile, you can definitely get us and watch this unfold on your screens with the real live data coming in from our collations spread across the country, but also at the Electoral Commission, bringing us the certified results that we input and to give you the view you have on your screens. If you're on radio, you can also join the stream so you can see this unfold. And one of the things we're doing very shortly is to take you into the home of Professor Michael Quay, who's going to be joining us live on your election headquarters. It's very important to hear from him because he played a very important role in establishing the basis for the party to rebuild following the defeat in 2024. And he has some perspectives on what today means for the party and how the party can forge ahead. My colleague, Papania Ashali, will be joining us with him pretty shortly so we can hear his perspective. He went to vote himself and is back at home, and he'll be joining us live here on your election headquarters. And so stay with us for that. That's coming up next. And then we'll also be taking you to the camps of Baumia, for example. We'll be going to the campaign headquarters of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, where the last time we went there, JC told us they're jubilating. JC is setting up a satellite studio there, where we'll be hearing from Baumia's aides and campaign managers very shortly to give us their own perspective on what is happening pretty shortly. And then we'll also take you back to Brian Champon, the man who really appears to be causing the Japan a lot of pain. We have Gemma, who will join us. My colleague Gemma Pierre will join us pretty shortly. I want to take you to Papania Shale, who is speaking right now with Professor Michael Quay.
Now, where the EC is expected to announce their final results and tell us who exactly will lead the NPP into the next elections. So, yes, once again, we're coming to you live from the residence of Professor Mike Okwei Sr., picking his perspectives on what he makes of the processes so far. Again, as the results keep coming in, we'll be reacting to some of it. At least from journeys, we have managed to certify about 98 out of the 277 results. What he thinks the party should also do in going forward. And for the other four candidates who may not make the pole position, what should they do? It's a pleasure to have you, Professor Michael Quay.
Thank you very much. You're most welcome.
Prof, I know that since morning you have been going around. We'll come to what exactly your observations were on the ground. But in 2023, you were the chairman of the vetting committee. You were at the thick of the affairs in the run-up to electing a presidential candidate for the NPP. If you just oppose what 2023 looked at in 2025 or 2026, what do you make of the processes so far? Fair to everybody?
Oh, definitely fair to everybody. And that's the essence of all the arrangements that we came to. You know, the NPP is the lead of democracy in this country, traditionally. Today, as the party voted, there were over 200,000 voters. In the past, it was the business of only 10 from each constituency throughout the country. You can imagine how colossal the improvement has been. The idea is to democratize the party, the voting process, the participatory aspect of our democracy, and strengthen governance as a whole in our country. And largely, the NPP has been the trailblazer in this process, and we are proud of that process. Some few years ago, we identified a number of difficulties. You know, in the past, the police came to party elections more like observers. They were not in control as such. This time round, we had a system whereby the police was absolutely in charge of the security and the management of people at the polling stations, so that you could not go and say later that some people have outreached in any manner whatsoever, being party people. It was a very good idea, which we introduced a few years ago. No party security, no party person in charge of any process. It was something that some people didn't understand a few years ago, but which we had to do so that the genuineness of our electoral process will become something to write home about. And I'm glad to see Honorable Joe Wise doing such a wonderful job, following what had been laid down already and making sure that the Electoral Commission was in charge of all electoral matters, including even the choice of venue. The choice of venue, you will be surprised to hear, have sometimes been a source of big trouble and fight, because some people want to take the people into an enclosed room and maybe squeeze a few people's hands, whilst others also want it plain. Now we say it must be in the full glare of the public. Today I went to vote at my constituency up there at the Atomic School Park, and it was a beauty to behold. They had 4 main polling stands, and with reasonable distances. The internal parameter was well set out. When you got there, you met police people as well as electoral commission people. No party people were in charge. If you're a party person and you came there, you will be at the outer periphery. But inside the voting parameters, you could not enter until you have been admitted to go and vote. It is also a good thing for other parties to learn from, because you went there, you voted as a voter, and then you left like anybody else, like we used to do in our general elections. It was not a matter of people just behaving as if everybody was in charge here. And I think this is something that is very, very laudable and worthy of emulation for the democracy of our people.
So, overall, what would you rate it in terms of the organization? How would you rate it?
Oh, a human organization may not be 100% perfect, but actually, you will give this, in any serious analytical giving of marks, a minimum of 95%. It was very good. What I saw and what I have heard from other centers, it is a very, very important development in our country.
Before we come to today's event, the 5%, you said 95, so the remaining 5, where did they go wrong, or what did they have to improve on?
In fact, I have not been to everywhere. Okay. And we are talking within what in social science we talk the general limits of human error. If you look at the fact that man is not perfect, then 95% is a real distinction. That's what I mean. I've marked papers all over the world, you know.
Okay. So, additionally, let's talk about the campaign process in itself. I mean, it's been months of campaign with all 5 candidates crisscrossing the country, trying to get over 200,000 delegates to believe in their message and effectively today choose them as the person to lead the party. What would you make of the campaign process? We had a lot of bickering, backbiting, a lot of argument, a lot of conversations here and there. Even on the day of signing the supposed peace pact, had some conversation. What do you make of the campaigning process?
It was murky sometimes. We as leaders, on many occasions, the Council of Elders, the National council itself, individuals came in, spoke with these contestants. The principal message being, we are only out here to choose a candidate. We are not electing a president yet. When you take out this elected leader to Ghana as a whole, then of course you expect that a different campaign will apply. If we have brought a candidate who is already wounded, decimated, dissipated by internal encounters, then what do you think we are doing to ourselves? Especially when even some of the things that were said against individuals were not verifiable or were not true, but they became just what one may call just campaign talk. That is not the real standard of the NPP. And it is good this was held quite early so that all cracks can be healed before the election really comes on. And let me just emphasize, this is not a bottom-down approach. We wanted an early Congress, among other things, to stop this kind of bickering and so on and so forth. It was within the constitutional framework that we could hold that election at this time. And if we are holding it early at this time, what do? Those people who already have the mandate to choose a presidential candidate are already there to choose. On top of that, in view of the need for enlargement, a whole lot of people were also added to the process, and it all went beautifully. Can you imagine a former chairman of a constituency not voting when there is a vote in his constituency, and yet is active and has even become a patron within the constituency? So all these, what we call unfortunate gaps, were filled, and there was a new enthusiasm. I can see the possibility of even a larger process in due course to make all our followers happy, participatory in the process, and then going along in 3 years' time to win an election.
So, from your point of view, the campaign, at least from the 5 gentlemen that were seeking to lead the party, was murky. That only means that, okay.
And we all know that in Ghana, we cannot sit here and tell lies. I mean, yes, some of the arguments were not called for. But nevertheless, I would say I congratulate all 5 gentlemen. It's not been an easy cause. They've fought a good fight. At the end of the day, all 5 can't win. Even 2 can't win. It's only one who will win. I trust that after today, all the 5 will come on board, such that those who have won, the person who has won, will embrace those who have lost, and those who have also lost will graciously think of the higher interest of the party and work towards our forward march.
So let's talk about the numbers that we are getting so far. At least from the joint newsroom, what we managed to collate so far is 123 out of the 277. As it stands now, Dr. Bawumia has about 53,000 votes. Also, Kennedy Japan, 21,000 votes. And then Brian, with some 14,000. And then we have Educhumu, some 1,000. And then Kwabena Japan also has some votes in there. Is this what you, are you one of those who were looking out for something similar like this?
Well, you will see that there's a pattern, a very clear pattern, and that pattern is a national pattern. In other words, the person who is leading across the entire country, generally speaking. And it tells you as a whole have spoken. They have spoken irrespective of whether a person belongs to a certain tribe or not. I personally, I like to see such things. That generality and commonality of the voting pattern across the country also shows that we are not voting upon certain religious lines by which you will find that certain parts of the country tend to be more of one particular religion or the other. That is also good. It tells you that we are people who can rise above some of these things that cause conflicts in other countries. I'm particularly happy about that. And from now, it will be easy to say that Ghanaians will not vote on tribalistic lines nor on religious lines, but upon what they believe are the qualities of a particular person who they want to lead the country into better governance and better development.
You believe this is solely on the message they preach to the people and not the handouts that we've confirmed all over the country that people received monies from all five, or at least all five candidates?
I will not be able to vouch for monies received. But one thing is that you know that I've spoken strongly against monocracy in our politics. And I really wish that, just like the Constitutional Amendment Committee has made certain recommendations in that regard, we will take steps to stamp out monocracy in our country. It is not a good thing. And you should ask that in such matters, what is the vision of the man you want to elect? It doesn't matter who has got more money, because nobody can share his money among Ghanaians and we shall prosper. Who? So that money matter, it should be eschewed. And rather, you want to let us know how you are going to manage our economy, our industry, how we are going to be able, by our agricultural performance, to feed ourselves, how we will cater for food, clothing, and shelter, which are the principal things that human beings need, apart from, of course, education and medication. When you give us viable plans that would lift Ghana up, when you are able to tell us how you will manage our mineral resources in such a way that we will no more be begging those who come to exploit these minerals to their own advantage, but that it will be to the best advantage of the Ghanaian people. These are policy-oriented issues, and I'll be glad if these become the quintessence of the campaign in Ghana as a whole in the near future.
Okay. So, based on the numbers that we are seeing so far, how significant will this change the party whilst you are working towards 2028? Is this what you've all been praying for?
I personally am happy about the commonality of a person leading throughout the country. It means we are one people, one destiny, and it's very, very important. If that happens, then in future, when any good person emerges, any brilliant person with good ideas emerges, it doesn't matter whether he's from Western Ghana or Eastern Ghana or Accra or the middle part of Ghana or the northern part of Ghana, but what is the qualitative essence of that person? And what ideas, beliefs, and values is that person bringing into our governance and our development? When we really mature more in this process, I think it will make things better for Ghana.
Let me ask you directly, should Bawumia win, is he what the NPP needs to win 2028?
Well, now it looks as if he's winning throughout the country, generally speaking, from the figures that we are seeing on the TV right now before us. If that is the end result, it approximates to about 60%, more or less. When that happens, I think we should settle everything and then together move along with the leader of the next election in favor of the NPP and win the election.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier that the campaign appears a bit acrimonious to some extent. whoever wins, how would you suggest the person goes ahead to unite, especially the sort of fractured NPP from the 2024 right to the campaigning process, right, becoming to presidential candidates? How would you say the person should try and heal the party?
There are difficulties. There should be a healing process, but it is not fractured. Maybe there are a few lacerations, if I may beg from the medical language, a few lacerations here and there, or contusions as well, but there is no fracture. And in that connection, I trust that we will manage things quite well. And the elders will also play a healing a role in the process.
So how would you, for instance, advise whoever wins today's elections to, say, bring the remaining 4 people to the table? What should he be doing if he had to do one thing to keep them together? What should he do?
In victory, be gracious. In victory, be gracious. After all, you have won. There have been a lot of difficulties in party politics in Ghana because this person did not support me. This person, even though competent, don't give him the position of so and so. Why? Because he supported somebody else during the primaries. It does not help Ghana. If that is the best man for the job, give the job to him and let the party move on. After all, we are not only all Ghanaians, but we are also all of the NPP fraternity. And I want that this should become a serious aspect of our governance. This kind of discriminating internally among us because a person supported or did not support a candidate does not augur well for us.
Okay. So, whilst we are also trying to wrap up here, I know that you also led a team that went around the country after the 2024 defeat to the NDC, trying to collate, try to find out what exactly may have happened to the NPP going into that elections. Largely, this report hasn't come out. But does what is happening right now fit into that report and recommendations that you gave to the party at the time?
Thank you very much. I was chairman of the committee. It was a high-powered committee with all manner of experienced people thereon. We had academics who did research. There was a desk research unit. We had others who accompanied us actually to the grounds. I traveled to many of the constituencies in Greater Accra. With me, Honorable Gifty Kusi and other members of the team over here. We went everywhere. The committee had a group in Ashanti, throughout the country. So really we came to gather what were the real causative factors for our difficulty. And then of course, the recommendations that were given unto us by way of the therapeutic aspects of the process, we did that also as well. And then we presented the recommendations. You talk about the report not having come out. It has come out to the appropriate people. It has come out it's not meant to be published in the Daily Graphic, nor to be given to Joy FM.
I mean, we would have appreciated if you gave us something.
It's not possible. You know, such reports, those who commissioned the report, those are the people who report to. It was not within my power, nor that of any other persons, honestly speaking, to start talking about a report. And I must tell you, on the day of presentation, the time was 2 p.m. at the party office, at a hotel. You know, we left our camp at 12 noon, having just printed one copy for the party chairman and the National Council, which we presented to them, of course, with a commentary that I made a summation, by way of a summation to the National Council as a whole. After that, nobody else has a copy. If the committee if the report should ever leak, which I don't expect, otherwise it would have leaked now, it must be the business of the party chairman or the party secretary only. and they are the appropriate people now to work along as National Council, together with all the people who are there, including all our former presidents who are all part of it, to come out with whatever they want. But let me add, we did not take the position of those who were bringing in or trying to smuggle in religious and ethnic factors. Oh, because they were not there scientifically as part of the process. And our position, which we briefed the National Council on, has come out clearly in this. You get my point. And it is very, very important that when people in the future are commissioned to do such work, don't bring in extraneous matters, maybe just to satisfy certain gossips or certain people, but go to the truth and come out clearly and plainly with the truth, all the truth, and nothing but the truth.
So the choice of the delegates today is one of the recommendations that you made to the party at the time?
No, I'm saying that the outcome today shows, one, the generality of the support of the winner throughout the country. So it's not an ethnic matter. Two, it also defeats those who are trying to steal into the process a religious connotation. And we are proud that this has shown clearly how truthful our position has been.
I'm grateful. So final question here. Can Bawumia win the 2028 elections for the NPP?
Definitely he can.
Given all the people who saw him as vice president in the country, who are still in the country, by the way. And don't forget that he's the one the NDC is also asking you to make flag bearer. Okay.
When the NPP don't want, the NDC don't want him, I don't expect them to, because he will beat them. If you put achievements, ideas introduced, policies that were really brought about by the man called Bawumia, he is the best of all vice presidents in the history of this country since the Fourth Republic.
Prof, I'm grateful. For the sake of time,
The Tempur-Pedic Breeze makes sleep feel cool. So no more sweating all night or blasting the air conditioning. Because the Tempur Breeze feels up to 10 degrees cooler all night long. Find cooler sleep with the Tempur Breeze collection at an Ashley near you.
Shibibi ase. Sɛ wotena hɔ deɛ mahu me bae aha no wɔn tena hɔ kɔ pension wi ansa na ma hyɛ bibi ase no because wo hyɛ ase na nya den abɛ encounter problem. Nti tamu a wo yɛ aban adwuma no ade a me inspiration a me take free obɛn da akon hɔ no wonya sika no a wo sɛ wo de hyɛ bibi ase. Wo de hyɛ ase a ɛkɔ no a no wo hu sɛ ɛnoa na bɛbɛde no ho. Nti wo hyia wo hawo a ɔhaw no de ka adwuma bia baby a mpo adidi a kontomo a wutwa wa hwe kasa na kasa ehia wo a ɛno so yɛ problem ti bibia a wo yɛ bia be hia wo hawo nanso wo hia wo hawo a ɛno no awɔsa no boa wo ma wutimi ɛkɔ animu danse obakasa no nti wagya ɛyɛ nti adwuma no de sɛ de ɛka no obi ka kyerɛ sɛ oba na hu no fɛfɛfɛ saa ɔhawo nanso so fa hyɛ wadwene mu sɛ obi atimi ayɛ
nanso ɔba de adaroma yɛne mo atwitwe nkɔmɔ ɛwɔ ayɛkɔ dwumadie so nkokɔyɛ sɛ de nipa bi de ɔmo ho agyem ɔyɛ aban dwuma na wasan de ne ho agye nkokɔyɛ mu ti yɛbɛhwɛ no nso ne ahwɛ sɛ ɔyɛ aban dwuma kwan bɛ na nso betumi afa so na wɔde aka ho kwan ɔyɛ ne deɛ no wutia na ofa ho adwen sɛ ne bɛyɛ ebetumi abɔ yɛmfa asitama nnwuma kɔ ɔmo so yɛase adam asɛm nka nkyɛw sɛ efu a ɔbɛyɛ ne deɛ bɔmmɔden na ɔne ne nsa so san sɛ wotɔ no nnwuma bi sɛ wohyi mfuye sɛ wodandana fu ne na ɛyɛ deɛ adama frɛ mo na wo number no fa na frɛ mo a kɔmɔtwetwe ne bɛkɔ na wobɛnya mu no bi na adwuma no akɔyie